Hey everyone, welcome back to Real Estate Moms Unscripted. I am Garrison and I'm here with my lovely sister, Sarah Hoefer, as my co-host, and we are excited to dive into today. Now it is unscripted, so Sarah has no idea what I've put on the subject lines for today, but I do have a few
Oh
things that I'm
boy.
going to be asking her.
Oh,
Okay, so Miss Sarah, I just got done with a hurricane over here.
how was it? I know. I mean, God, I've been following every video on TikTok is of Florida right
Yep,
now.
Hurricane Milton. Now it did hit hard on the east, not the east, sorry, the west coast, which is like Tampa and Sarasota. It didn't even get Tampa, I don't think that much, but like Sarasota and below. Then it traveled through. When it hit about mid Florida, it went to a category 2. So it started category 3, category 2. By the time it got to us, it was probably less than a 1.
Oh,
So
wow, good.
we yeah, we are safe. We are good. I mean, I went and looked at the lawn. There's a lot of twigs and branches and everything. We had a lot of rain yesterday. Now, however, beachside, I went and looked at some videos. There's one of my friends who's driving around doing some videos. Beachside, Cocoa Beachside, there's like a Wells Fargo and the roof got completely ripped off because I know, even though it was a category 1 or even less than, we had some tornado warnings and cyclone warnings. Like, I don't even know what a cyclone is. Do you?
Isn't it like, I mean, I don't know what the difference between a cyclone and a tornado would be. Maybe just not as high as wind speeds, but a cyclone is literally when the wind
Just
goes
from the
around in
bottom?
circles. Yeah,
Okay.
I
Or
think
and
so.
maybe it like sucks up water. I don't know. That sounds like that.
Oh,
We should
yeah.
ask Chat GPT. Okay. Do you ever use Chat GPT?
I love Chat GPT. Like,
I
it
love
makes me
it too.
sound so
It is.
smart.
It does, doesn't it? With real estate, it is amazing. All right, let's ask it. What is a cyclone? It said, "What is a psycho?" No,
What
what
is
is
a
a cyclone?
psycho? Yeah, that's crazy because Cocoa Beach, I mean, that's close to you.
Yeah, it's pretty much what you said. It's a large scale air mass that rotates around the strong center of a low as I can't say that word, atmospheric pressure. Cyclones are characterized by the circular wind patterns which rotate counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Well, it's so
so
weird because we got remnants from your guys' hurricane. I mean, we had some insane rainstorms. Like the last couple days, it would like downpour, torrential downpours where like you couldn't even see like 3 feet in front of you. And then it would turn to hail. We were getting hail like the size of like peas, like just coming down. Um, Huge, like tons of wind. There was some
yeah, some
um,
psychos around.
cyclones or whatever coming down from the clouds, like that people captured over the lake. Like it was crazy. So for like 2 days, we got so much rain, so
Yeah.
much rain.
How is the temperature? Because we're headed in October now, and I just talked to Samantha yesterday, who is in Utah, and she said it was one of the warmest days that they've had in October. And I was like, that's weird because, we're going through all these hurricanes. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. So how's
We're
your temperature there?
freezing. We are freezing. Like it's getting like
Is that why
at
you've got a
night.
sweater today?
Yeah, I'm like long sleeved, like whatever. We're
Hmm.
getting temperatures like in the 40s, low 40s at night. Like our heat went on a couple days ago. We turned our heat on.
You're
So
so
what is it?
lucky.
What is it like there? Like 70s still?
Hot. We've got
Yeah.
medium hot. It's kind of like salsa, okay? You can have your mild, medium, or hot,
Or
okay?
hot. Just depends
That's
on.
all it is. There is no cool weather in Florida.
Oh my God, I'll switch you. Send some heat this way, would you?
No kidding. Okay,
What's
so my
the
first question for you today is, now that we're talking about the weather, how is fall impacting the real estate market there in New York?
so fall is weird. Like, well, I think anywhere school starts, teachers go back to work, um, kids get crazy with sports and stuff. So like I want to say like September for like the first 2 weeks in September, we really slowed down. But the last week and a half, it's like picking up and going crazy again. Like all of a sudden, it's
Okay.
like we had like a week and a half break, and now all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, here we go. So it's
So when you
strange.
guys get like snowstorms, though, does that slow everything down because it's hard to even move around with all that snow?
Not necessarily. The thing is when you get crazy weather, and I'm sure you know this too, but when you get crazy weather, it kind of eliminates a lot of the riffraff or like the not serious buyers and sellers. You're not going to see the sellers that are like, oh, we'll just see what happens. I'll put my house on the market for this or whatever. You're getting buyers that really want to sell, or sellers that really want to sell, and buyers that really want to buy when it's crazy. Like last year, I sold three houses literally like a week before Christmas, like where everyone's like, oh my God, but it's people
Wow.
that are really looking. And there's been times like wintertime, I definitely carry shovels in my vehicle because there's times where we're shoveling out paths to walk through. It's crazy.
You're like, just stand behind me as we make a path to this
Serious?
house.
I've done that more times than not, or you wear extra
I,
layers because you'll walk in these homes that the heat's turned off or the water's been
yeah.
turned off and it's cold.
You've got to make a
So,
promise for me. The next time you have to shovel a path to show a client a showing, can you please record it so that I
yes.
can put it up here for everyone to see? Because I think I mean, that is
Have
hard ass work for a real estate agent.
have you ever had to like freaking like I don't know if you get like overgrown weeds and stuff there, but like I had a house here in like the country that had been abandoned and like completely overgrown. Like I had to like cut down a path to the front door. It was insane. It's
That's hard,
nuts.
yeah. Well, so I mean, I have something kind of similar, not with overgrown weeds, but because it was hurricane season or we had Hurricane Milton just come through, I have some clients. I'm selling their house, gorgeous country house down in Malabar. It slipped my mind for a second. And they had patio furniture out, so they're not home. So the neighbors came to put up their hurricane shutters, and I went there with Shasta, and we had to bring all the furniture inside of the garage and just kind of make sure there was like nothing that could fly around. So it's not just real estate work that you're doing, like you're
Yeah. Well, I mean,
helping
that's what like
others with their houses.
yeah, people don't understand that. Like when you say I'm a real estate agent, like it's not just all about buying pretty or showing pretty houses and everything you see it like on social media. I mean, it is hard work, it's cleaning.
Yeah.
There was one time I had an open house on a bachelor house, and I went the day before and I literally cleaned his house from top to bottom. I mean, like he was just a single guy living there, and I brought Sydney with me, and we
Yep.
just spit shined his
The
house. I
kids.
mean, that didn't it, that wasn't something extra I charged for. It was part of the real estate job that you do. So
Yeah. And that is what sets you apart from like agents who are not doing this full time because they wouldn't have the time to do it, and two, they probably wouldn't have the means or the expectation to do it because they're just either part time. But I mean, I completely agree with you. I've done things like that too to get a house closed. So we have a lot of vets down here, and when you have a VA sale or a VA loan, the appraiser can come in and say there's certain things that need to be done in order for the loan to be approved. Well, this
yeah,
one house that was totally vacant, it was my buyers buying this house. There was chipped paint on the garage wall. So the VA appraiser said it had to be scraped and repainted in order for his loan to be approved. So you better believe me and that seller's agent were in that garage scraping and painting together. So
yep. You have to. You do what it takes to make it work. It's
yeah,
like yeah, and VA loans. I was explaining to one of my buyers last night. He's a veteran, and VA loans are definitely a lot more stricter of like what they require to be fixed or repaired or done in order for those loans to go through. Speaking of
oh
VAs and
great.
veterans, are you following are you following Lieutenant Dan on TikTok?
Yes, yes, Lieutenant Dan. He
And
made
he's
it.
safe and he's good and he like listened to God, he said, and he's like
Oh,
Noah's Ark. Oh
yes,
my God, that's
Lieutenant
so
Dan.
funny.
Yeah, there's so many memes. What's the movie? What's the name of the movie?
Um,
I can't think
it's
of
not
it.
Forrest Gump. Is it Forrest
Yeah, it
Gump?
is Forrest Gump.
Okay. Yeah.
Lieutenant
Yeah.
Dan is on Forrest Gump.
Yes. He freaking got famous like overnight just for
Overnight.
staying in his boat.
Overnight.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's crazy. He's on the news. He's on everything.
So if you haven't seen Lieutenant Dan and you're curious what we're talking about, you just need to Google it on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, Lieutenant Dan.
He's in Tampa, right?
Through the hurricane. Yeah. He is in Tampa and he was on his boat. And I'm telling you, he is so lucky because Tampa is like right here and Sarasota is like just below. And literally the entire hurricane was going to be the center of Tampa, like this section.
That is crazy.
But it ended up shifting just like at the last minute and it went down to Sarasota. So Tampa was like maybe getting the outskirts of the wind at the end of it.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of wind and rain.
Nobody could have guessed that would have happened. So he is so blessed. And maybe he was listening to God because that's is crazy. So scary.
I know. I can't imagine. I mean... Yeah, he's like, well, if the water rises, my boat will rise, as long as water doesn't get in my boat. And I'm like, okay, like, whatever.
We said lots of prayers for Lieutenant Dan. You brave man.
I said lots of prayers.
Dan.
Yes, I don't have anything to cheers with. I'm going crazy today, as you know. I'm looking for something to cheers. I don't have nothing.
Bless your heart. But okay, so I have another question for you.
Okay.
Buyers and sellers, mistakes to avoid this year that you've noticed. So any mistakes that your buyers or your sellers have made that you want to throw out there, not that we're throwing you guys under the bus, but just to put out there for anybody else who might be thinking of making this mistake. So anything you can think of.
Yeah, sellers making mistakes of overpricing their home. The market's
that was on the top of my list.
Yeah, the market has been
So why is that a mistake? Let's explain to sellers why overpricing is a mistake.
Well, because, yes, it's a seller's market. There's buyers out there. The demand is strong for your home. But again, your home is only worth so much. I definitely see what's going to happen is buyers are smart. They know what the house is worth. They're doing their own homework. Plus they have an agent doing homework for them that's pulling up market values and comparables and all that stuff. So if they have a good agent, they have an agent saying that house is overpriced.
Right. And I feel like it scares off potential buyers and it leaves your property sitting on the market for way too long.
Way too long. And then, when you're dropping the price, then you have people going, well, now what's wrong with it? It's been on forever and now they're dropping the price. And you end up getting less than what you could have gotten if you would have just priced it at market value. Right. Go in for bidding wars and that kind of thing. So that's on sellers.
Right. And I think the mentality too is when I see a house start dropping in price, I want to see how low it can go. So I wait even longer and it drops again and I wait even longer and it drops again. And then I'm like, okay, now they're desperate. So now we go in and we put even a low ball offer.
A lower offer in. Yep. And that even happens like with one price drop. They're like, oh, it sat for a while and they just dropped. So they definitely want to sell it. So, and now it's been on the market for 35 days or whatever. So that's huge.
Is the key.
Oh, big time. And buyers mistakes. Oh, let's see. It's hard because it's been such a seller's market lately. Like it's been hard for buyers to really make mistakes. I would say spontaneous impulse buying would be huge. Like really listen to your agent, do your own homework. Like it's exciting to get in and see a house you love. But I've seen too where people jump the gun, put the offer in, get it accepted, go through so much and then have buyer's remorse. And they're like, I paid too much for this house. I don't want it. Whatever. And then they're stuck with legal fees and different sorts of liabilities, that they might not have and that I think is a scary situation for buyers because houses are going so quickly that I think over the past year there's been a lot more buyer remorse than there has been in the past. I have to go get some water real quick, okay?
Okay, go get some water. I've got to tell my husband to stop vacuuming. Hey, Steven, can you stop vacuuming?
At least he's vacuuming, you lucky bitch.
Can you stop vacuuming, please? I can't hear. We're on a podcast.
What did he say?
he just left the house.
He's like, oh,
He's
shit.
like, first you tell me to vacuum, and then you tell me to stop. Like, what kind of woman are you?
Yeah, we're very
man.
demanding. It's fine.
Yeah,
Hey, at least
we
he's
are.
vacuuming.
At least he's vacuuming, yes.
Hmm.
Okay,
What about you?
so
Like, what do
now,
you think about buyers?
so I feel like buyers' mistakes that I kind of am on the same line with you, that just jumping the gun and not really doing your homework, or, not listening to their agent is one thing that I found. Like, if we tell you to go a certain direction with whether it's a lender or a closing company, and you're like, no, 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 my brother or my sister or my cousin, uncle, brother, and you do it, and then closing gets hold up or whatever it is, it's like, okay, take the advice of what your real estate agent is doing, because one, they've done it way more
They deal with
times than
this
you
daily.
have.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
and
and
two, they know what they're talking about. And the reason why they're recommending certain vendors or lenders or coordinators or closing companies is because they've seen all the bad stuff already. And then they've
right,
seen the good stuff. And so they're definitely directing you to go this direction because they know it's going to get done that way.
right. And always give them the option to still be able to choose, but not, give them the good options. One more thing too on that, on
Okay.
buyers' mistakes is opening accounts, buying new cars during a transaction, opening credit cards during a transaction, changing
That's
jobs
still
during a
happening?
transaction, right? Oh my God, changing jobs. Like, it's like, well, I thought if I didn't have a lapse in my jobs that it would be fine. I just switched companies. And I'm like, no, like there's sometimes that like if it's the same type of job, they can make it work. But like if you can handle your same job till the end of closing day, just do it. Don't open credit cards. Don't go put your furniture for your new house on layaway or get a
Mm-mm.
new car for your new house. Like just wait.
Yeah. And that's
So,
like one of the first emails that I send out. And I feel like sometimes it's goes without saying, but then you get the newbies who've never bought in a house
yeah,
before and they don't realize. But that is literally one of the first emails I send out when I'm working with a buyer. It strictly says, you know, don't take any loans out, don't make any job changes, don't make any
exactly.
big purchases, or don't even withdraw large amounts from your account or deposit large amounts into your account without talking to your lender, because you will have to have an explanation for everything that you do. And if you don't have an
Everything that you
explanation,
do.
you may not get that loan.
Right, exactly. Even if it's gift money, if, Aunt Betty's like, hey, I'm going to give you $10,000 towards your home purchase. Like, you have to document everything. And then Aunt Betty's got to show her bank account. It's like,
Yep,
it's
it's
very
true.
tricky, but
Yeah. Well, with 2.5 months left in 2024,
I cannot
what
believe that.
predictions or what are we looking for 2025? What do we want to see in 2025?
I have a feeling that you are going to see interest rates continue to come down for the remainder of the year. I have a feeling that come January, the housing market's going to go crazy again.
Okay.
I think, I don't know. I just think it also depends on, elections. I think that's going to be a huge game changer in which direction we go.
Now, I'm not going to ask you your prediction for the election, but
No, we don't talk
do you
about
have
that.
somebody in your head that you think would win?
I think no.
No? Yep.
Do
I
you?
know. I don't. I'm actually 50-50, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I'm fifty
it's
fifty. I just see it going either way. I don't. It's so weird because usually for me, like in past elections, I was like, yeah, that's a clear winner. That's a clear winner. That's a clear
mm-hmm.
winner. This time around, I don't see a clear winner. So it's going to be interesting
No,
to see how it goes. I'm probably going to be just as shocked as everybody else. Either, I mean, 50% of the United States is going to be shocked, okay?
right, exactly.
50% is going to be happy, and the other 50% is going to be like, what the heck? So
Right.
we'll
I
see what
hear you.
happens.
But I think that's going to be a big um culprit for how the housing market goes, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yep. It will be interesting for sure. And I know that after these three hurricanes, because apparently we have another one lined up coming around in Florida, I have a feeling just for Florida that we're going to slow down on how many people are moving to Florida because I think these hurricanes are going to scare them just a little bit.
Just a tad. So what's the name of this next hurricane coming up? How do they name
Nadine.
these, by the way? Me and my kids were trying to figure this out the other day. Like Milton?
I
Really?
think they go through the alphabet, obviously, right? So M was Milton. Now we're on LM and N, which is Nadine.
Oh, this is
So
Nadine.
yeah, so
Aline.
it goes through the alphabet. And I don't know what happens if we get to Z. We're dead. I don't know.
Oh my God, I know. I'm like, oh,
So
that's
the
crazy.
next one that's coming is Nadine, and it's actually coming to the east side, but it's like the lower half of Florida again. So I always, God, knock on wood, I always feel like we're in a really great place because we're in the Space Coast, kind of by the base, Cape Canaveral
Hmm.
base, and the space station over there. And I'm telling you, they built it in this area for a specific reason because it's like I feel like
Safe.
I'm going to say this and we're going to get hit. Watch. We're untouchable over here.
Oh, geez. Don't ever say that. Knock on wood, Dawn, right now. I'll knock on wood for you
Knock, knock,
too.
knock, knock, knock.
Jeez. Oh my
But
God.
we've been really lucky. We've lived here 12 years and our house has just been we've been really lucky. Now we do have hurricane insurance, thank goodness.
I didn't think they
Um
even offered that.
Hurricane insurance?
Yeah.
Well, I mean it's
I feel like I was under the impression that like some some homes can't even be insured or it's like outrageous insurance, like depending on where you
insurance
live in
is
Florida.
really high in Florida. And if you're
Okay.
beachside, like forget about it. Now there's some
Okay.
buildings that like there's some places that are not insured. They're like self-insured because it's like no insurance company will touch them because they don't have like hurricane straps or they don't have hurricane windows or hurricane roof or
Oh,
like you have
gotcha.
to
Okay.
have certain things in order to
Certain
you have to
things.
have your
Gotcha.
4-point inspection has to pass in order to get insurance and your wind mitigation, which
Okay.
is what gives you credits on your insurance. But I'm telling you, since we've lived here, since we've lived in Florida, when we first had insurance on this house, it was like maybe 1,400 a year. It has since then doubled. And I'm
Oh,
sure
wow.
it's going to double again. So I'm not going to be shocked when I see the prices of insurance go up again, especially after what just happened over on the west side of Florida. So
Right.
I'm really nervous about that. But yeah, insurance is a huge cost. It can add $600-700 to your house payment every month.
That's
So if
crazy.
your house payment is only $600, you have to add another $600 just for your
Just for
insurance and then
insurance.
plus your
Yeah.
taxes. So like your
Wow.
insurance and taxes can be more than your house payment.
That's crazy.
It is.
That is so
It's
crazy.
insane. So hopefully Nadine doesn't turn out to be a demon, but
I
we'll
know. You guys have
see.
had a terrible season. Holy cow.
No more.
No more
Ugh.
over it.
And you
When
guys don't
is?
get hit by hurricanes, do you? You
No,
get snowstorms.
we get snow, but and we get a ton of rain whenever you guys get hit, it seems like. We get a ton of
Okay.
rain. But yeah, no, we don't really get hurricanes come through.
You know what's interesting when we do have a named hurricane? Certain, and sometimes it's happened to me before, where the closing company or the lender is like, nope, they postpone the closing because they can't get insurance on it. Because when a named hurricane is coming, it's like all the insurance companies freeze. They don't take on
Oh,
any new clients. And so
wow.
that like will postpone our closing. So sometimes, like if we're scheduled to close on a certain day and then all of a sudden a named hurricane is headed our way,
You have to
that will
wait.
yeah, we have to wait. So that's
And
something interesting that
then
we
what
didn't
happens
think
if
about.
like the house gets its roof ripped off? Is the deal dead?
It's on the seller at that point,
Okay. Okay.
right? So because they're not gonna issue the buyer any insurance, but the seller
Oh,
should
yeah.
have insurance still at that point
Yep. Makes
until
sense.
after, and then after
Okay.
the hurricane, then they'll proceed with it. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So that's kind of like a
Crazy.
fun fact. I don't know, but I always this one's weird. Maybe you know. I always think about the animals at the zoo during hurricanes. Like, what do they do with those poor babies?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I bet we could YouTube it.
I know YouTube it. They've
I mean,
they've got to
the
have like
dens and stuff, they're probably pretty structurally sound, I would think, because they have to build those buildings to be like pretty solid. I don't know. That's a good question.
yeah, they've got to have a little place on the inside because I think about those giraffes for some reason, and they're long. flopping in the wind.
What is wrong with you? Of course you
I
would think
love
about the
giraffes, so
giraffe.
that's like that's a thought I just had about hurricanes and giraffes.
Oh my God. Save
It's
the
so
giraffes.
Save the giraffes.
Oh my God. Well, that's something we're going to have to do homework on and see.
Okay.
We'll follow up on that next week.
Okay. Well, then that wraps up today's episode. We'll be thinking about those giraffes.
Oh,
And what was his name? Lieutenant
Dan.
Mike?
Dan.
Lieutenant Dan. We're thinking about Lieutenant
Matt
Dan.
and Mike. I'm sure there's a Lieutenant Matt and Mike out there too somewhere.
If there's a Magic Mike, if there's a Lieutenant Magic Mike out there, I could definitely use your help saving the giraffes.
I mean, Magic Mike, if you're out there and you're a lieutenant, can you call us, please?
Yeah. We want to save the animals.
We want to save the animals, specifically giraffes. Oh my goodness.
Well, thank you, Sarah, for taking your time.
Oh,
today,
this is always so fun to see you and to hear you, and I'm hoping I can come down sometime after hurricane season, of course. Are people still getting out of the? Are people still getting out of the state? Or are they coming back in now?
I think, well, some people who have left might probably stay out for a while because Nadine is supposed to come in the next few days, but that's going to be on the other side of Florida. I can imagine some people would be coming back in
just to kind of start on the damage.
Look.
Yeah, makes sense.
So.
All right, so I will see you next week. Do we want to schedule it right now?
Let's do it. Even though like our schedule changed.
I know.
Okay. Thursday, the 17th.
I have to bring Sydney to her follow-up on Thursday. Do you have anything on Wednesday?
Okay. Wednesday works perfect.
Okay. Do you want to say like 11:30? I know. We always do.
Yeah. 11:30 works good because I've showered by then.
I know, me too. That's always good. So, all
right.
Until
guys
next,
for popping in.
Yes, let us know if you have any
questions. If you have real estate questions, send them to me, and I will spring those on Sarah.
Yes, and if you have any info on giraffes, let us know too, so Dawn can rest in peace.
Amen. Bye.
Bye.